Oh. Sai Ram.
Auntie, did you want to give any summary or should we just read?
Well, let us go back to that last session what we had. Gnani. Yeah. Just through train and through carriage, Swami was taking about. Sai Satish? Sai, if you can summarize this, please.
Yes, Auntie. So, as discussed last time, we found that the Jnani is essentially free from Maya. He is unaffected by any of the Trigunas, while each of the other categories that we have to experience, like it is a progression. We had discussed about how it is going from one stage to another to getting to being Jignasu and finally the Jnani. And that is where Swami had also brought in this concept of the train, the through carriage that is there, and about the various symbolism that goes into understanding all of these concepts. But in essence, I think what we had arrived at is we are starting at one stage of evolution, and it's a journey that comes right through one's birth and across different births. And the penultimate stage is Jignasu, and the ultimate is when we are the Jnani, and anything that we seek for and everything that we seek for is only the Lord. And that is where I think we stop. And if anyone else has any other points to add, please share your viewpoints and then we can go on. Auntie, over to you, Auntie.
A Gnani has got a samadrishti. He sees God in everything. Whatever is manifested on this universe, it is God. He recognizes that there is divinity in everything. That is a Gnani. Whereas this Arti, but Swami says they have to go in a progression. Well, first Arti, all of us, we have gone through this. Arti, Artharti, then go to Jignasu, then at last arrive at the stage of Gnani. So those who are Gnani, Gnanis, that means within a sudden twinkling of eye, he will become a Gnani. No. Over the past few janmas, he must have done some good karma to reach that place. He must have also gone through this Artharti, Arti, Jignasu stage, and then he arrives at that stage where a Gnani, and where he is able to see only the divinity. And he himself is nothing but other than self. He is that Gnani. He is a realized person. That's what I wanted to add. Sai Ram. Anybody else can join and then say.
I think just adding to that, Auntie, like we saw that independent of what stage we are in as a bhakta, the Lord says that we are his very own. So it is not that, whether we are at Artha or Artharthi or Jignasu or Jnani, the Lord calls us his very own. So that is very satisfying. And it's not like, oh, I'm at a lower stage or somebody else is at a higher stage. It is all of us belong to God. He very much loves us all the same, and it is our effort that we should also put in pining for him so we can enjoy that proximity or oneness. So it gives that semblance that all of us are making that journey towards Swami. So that thing is also there. Sairam Aunty.
I would like to share my experience of the olden days. Swami is saying, through train, through carriage, we have gone through it. That's why I just wanted to share it. When we used to go to Parthi in 1947-48, we had to board the the train at Bangalore railway station. Up to Penugonda, we would travel by train. After Penugonda, we have to detrain ourselves and then take a bus from Penugonda bus station to Puttaparthi. But on the way, the bus would not go up to Parthi. It would stop at Bukkapatnam. Again, we had to take a bullock cart and then go to Parthi, reach Parthi. Sometimes the river Chitravati would be in spate. So that we had to solve that problem of waiting, or the bullock cart will drag itself up to that other bank. So I was remembering that experience, this through train, through carriage. So I just wanted to share it with you. So maybe perhaps we're all Arthis at that stage. And I don't claim to be a Gnani or Jignasu at this stage, but that was the time when all of us were eagerly waiting to see Swami, but we had to go through this. Saira, thank you.
Beautiful, Aunty. Aunty, in that context, I've heard these stories where Swami would come and wave people off until his last bit of the kerchief. People would keep pining to see Swami. So you would have gone through all of that, no? Like,
yeah, I've gone through. Especially, I explained the way how we used to reach Parthi. After reaching Parthi, all our exhaustion, all our tiredness, everything will go away because Swami would be waiting there, telling the others, my devotees are coming from Bangalore. He would tell the others, and then he would be waiting there. And then as soon as we went there, everything we were in bliss. Swami would give his darshan and ask us to take rest. Petrol is konrandi. That means he wanted us to go and have a cup of coffee. Petrol is konrandi, bhajan lestam. Let's do the bhajan afterwards. So that's how we used to get welcomed by Swami himself. That was such a beautiful experience. Even now when I remember, I really get goosebumps. Sairam.
Beautiful, Aunty. Thanks for sharing.
So if anybody is not Kalani, I think you can go to the next.
I think one thing I just wanted to clarify, because Swami, in the last paragraph, it says the goal is attained by all, only the process and the pace are different. And then he gave the example of the different types of train, the through carriage, the through train. So it makes it seem like these are three parallel paths, but also he has also said that you have to reach it step by step. So I'm just trying to see, is it actually three parallel paths, or is it you go from being an arti to an artarti to a jignasu to a jnani?
Yeah, Satish, you please go ahead. I'll come afterwards.
Yes, Aunty. Yes, Aunty. So from my limited understanding, like how we have, I think in the earlier discussions we have seen the flower, the fruit, the ripened fruit. So it's a continuum that happens. So what we begin at one stage, it is like literally if you were to look at the educational system, I would map it exactly to that. We have to go through the kindergarten, the primary, the secondary, tertiary, all the way, and then to whatever we are taking up as our vocation. So in that context, it definitely starts off with arthi and then artharthi. Because if we see, initially arthi, we are seeking everything, and from arthi, we are going to artharthi. That is, the search is becoming more focused. And when artha arthi, there also I would put the true artha or wealth is spiritual wealth or wisdom. So it is from the many desires going on to little more fine tuning of desires, but not yet fine tuned, and then going to Jignasu, and finally the Jnani. So it is a sequential process that happens rather than in parallel, sister. But there could be many reasons why one could feel it is parallel, but at the end, it is through not like what Auntie mentioned even few minutes ago. It's not in one birth, but across births. But of course, when the avatar comes, the equation completely changes. In 1 second, Swami can give us that kind of a thing where we can go all the way from Arti to Jnani at one go. That is purely divine grace. But in general, it is through human effort. It is a bottom-up approach. Even as God's grace is from top down, the bottom-up approach is always through self-effort, self-discovery, which starts with Arti, Artarti, Jignasu, and Jnani. So we are going from one stage to another across births, and that is where we reach the final ripened fruit, which finally detaches itself from the thing. It is completely free and self-established in the Lord, so becomes one with the Lord. Saira.
Yeah. So some remain in the parallel states itself. They don't go and near that goal. Some are Arti, for example, they keep on complaining about their lives, their problems, their miseries always to the Lord, saying that, oh Bhagawan, why are you kept it like this? So, for such people, until some kind of relief comes, they are not able to go further. So they may remain in the parallel line, that line for a number of years, and then they may reach the next stage and the next day. It's all God's grace, that's all I can say. But even now, Kalyani, when we see among the devotees, most of us, when we have problems, we reach God, don't we? we go to Swami, please solve all problems. Who is going to there asking for gnana? Nobody. Swami himself has said several times, all of you come with korikalu. You have desires, your wants are to be satisfied. So there is none who can come and ask me for gnani, Swami, real gnana there. Please give me. Nobody goes. But it is very few of us who can reach that level and then ask for Swami's grace. Sairam.
Thank you.
Aruna, you want to ask something? Okay.
Auntie, there's a good explanations are going on. I'm listening. Very nice, and you have summarized very well, Sai Satish and you. I didn't come up with any questions yet. Thank you.
Okay.
Sairam.
Yeah. If everybody was okay with this, we can move on. Kalyani.
Yeah, Auntie, one thing I was just wanting to add to what Sister Kalyani had mentioned, because I think it was mentioned as ordinary train and then through train and so on. Maybe that is where she was feeling that it looks like it is running in parallel. But just wanted to clarify that maybe in this birth, I am traveling in an ordinary train. But if I put sufficient effort in this birth, maybe in this birth itself, I can detrain from an ordinary train and board a through train, which would mean that I am slowly graduating from the stage of Arti or Artarti to Jignasu. Or it may happen that this whole life I travel in the same train, but I'm pining for it. So the next birth or subsequently what happens, I may be able to board that train. So though it appears that it is in parallel, but it is actually sequential, because we need to get to that level of maturity so that we can board the right train. So it is like I will start off with an ordinary train, but essentially get promoted to the through train when I have reached that stage of spiritual maturity in life. So just reiterate.
That's correct.
Sairam, there's a question after one sentence here. How do you know that you have reached to that level? Nobody cannot judge that. That is only yourself will get to know. Am I right? Please, when the Jnani stage come, you don't care about which stage you are in, even there won't be any mind to think about that. So until the Jignasya stage, I think you can see that you are changing, or you are in where you are at. But that is also, you only can say, you within yourself can assess that, not somebody else. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's correct. But
Yeah.
when you reach the Gnani stage, there is no mind, nothing at all.
Yes.
Until then, until Jignasu stage, all our efforts are involved in it. So we use our intellect, our mind, our body, everything to make an effort to reach that place. But once when we reach Gnani stage, there is no mind, there is no intellect, there is no nothing at all. So you are one with Brahman. You are one with that Supreme.
So how do you know you are in a Jignasya stage? That is within you. What are the things you will be analyzing within yourself? I'm just thinking to myself, what are the things you think you are at these different stages? How you will think about yourself where you are at? What are the things you will? If there is anything you will think of?
Nobody can certify you saying that you are a Gnani, you are Artharthi. Nobody can do that.
Nobody. It's all within us, right? Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
And it is
Hi,
more
Ram.
like,
Okay, go ahead. Sai Satish.
yeah, yes, Andy. I was just going to say, it comes down to initially maybe I'm spending half an hour or 1 hour with Swami, or thoughts filled with Swami. If I'm able to increase that quality time with Swami, and finally when it comes to Jnani stage where there is nothing but Swami and Swami alone, then, like Auntie was saying, we will know for ourselves how much we are in proximity with that. Nobody else needs to tell us, because initially for children we say, oh, if you do this, I will give you this. So we always, it is like a reward based mechanism. You do this, if you do this, you get this. That arti stage is something like that, where we, okay, if I do this, God will give me this. But then when we keep going from arti to artharti to jnana, jignasu and jnani, it comes to a thing, you do it purely because you're in love with Swami. There is nothing more than that that inspires you, because usually it's like, I do this, if I break a coconut, then Lord Ganesha will give me this. If I do this, so it is always a transactional thing that we have. But as we go along that path, the transactional nature of the devotion goes away. It becomes purely love for love's sake. And when we are in love for love's sake and doing whatever we do in our day-to-day life, and complete uh, uh, thoughts are filled with Swami alone, then we know that we are on that journey. It is for us to know more than anybody else. And then finally we get to that final thing of Jnani. There is nothing else but Swami. Wherever they see only Swami. So that is the kind of thing. How much time we spend with Swami, how much time we fill ourselves with Swami, and how much time we begin to see Swami everywhere. So that can help us for our own thing, how we progress. Sairam.
That's great. Thank you so much. That is one of the things we can say, like a love towards Swami. The other thing is, I always believe if you're not affected by anything, like, you always see everything happens with His will, that also will tell you where you are at, right? Sai Satish, you will think of that like that too?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you start seeing everything as Swami, there is nothing else but His will, right? There's no like my will and His will. Everything becomes His will, Auntie. So it's like just being in Swami's presence all the time. And the more we feel that presence within us and without us, then we are in tune with it. We accept everything as His blessing. Life becomes like a symphony. Everything goes perfectly according, like what you're saying, Swami's will. So the acceptance, surrender, all of that, it becomes superfluous. It's because you just love Swami. You accept everything that Swami gives, and you love him in the ultimate sense. So that's kind of thing. Whether you call it love or faith or surrender, it is all that same, this thing of how much we are thinking of
Yes.
Swami and being, that is.
Thank you, thank you. Sister Vasudha was asking this, Auntie, Sister Vasudha was raising her hand.
But Vasudha.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't see. Sairam, Sairam.
Sorry, I put my hand down because
No, no.
Brother Sai Satish did address that point. I was just going to say that there are no tangible goals or tangible milestones that, okay, now we've, like you graduate from grade 1 to grade 2 and so on. There is no tangible sort of attainment landmarks. But the closer you get to your goal, perhaps you're in such a bliss, the more knowledge you acquire, or rather wisdom, you're in a state of bliss where it doesn't even matter anymore where I am in this evolution or in this journey. And the rest, Brother Sai Satish put it very elegantly. So yeah, my questions also answered. Thank you.
Yes, Vasudha. Thank you so much.
Sairam. So, in other words, if there is an expectation of acknowledgement, then you are not progressing. Because
No.
when you're in, like, when you have, if you have some sort of expectation, okay, I have done this, or like brother explained, if you have a coconut, if you break a coconut for Ganesh, and if you want something in return, that's a transactional or expectation, then you're not moving forward. So, if you're right, thank you.
If you are expecting approval from others, then there is no progress. Not at all. The self-assessment is good. And even while doing the self-assessment, also we might get sometimes, proud, oh, I have reached this stage. Don't do that. We cannot do that. We have to get that grace from the Lord. The Lord, the moment comes, He will accept us and then He will grant us that jnana. That's what I feel, Sairam. Yeah, I think we should go to the next page.
Therefore, yearn always for the vast, the immeasurable. Do not limit your desires to the little. They are misers who crave for little things. Those who yearn for the Lord are generous, large-hearted, said Krishna. The bhakti or devotion of the jnani is what is termed sahaja bhakti, direct bhakti. The bhakti of others can be called gauna bhakti or derived bhakti, indirect bhakti. The jnana cognizes the Lord as his own Atma. His bhakti is anurakti, attachment towards or affection for God.
Anuraga Bhakti. Pujashva Anuraga Bhakti. That is Pujashva Anu. A is there, combined together. Pujashva Anuraga Bhakti.
Okay. Pujashva Anuraga Bhakti. It is said. Affection towards.
You combine two words. Pujashva Anuraga. Pujashva Anuraga.
Pujashva Anuraga. Bhakti. It is said, affection towards the venerable is bhakti, said Krishna. The jnani becomes so as a result of the merit accumulated through many lives. It is not a stage attainable on the spur of the moment, nor is it available ready-made in shops for a price. It is not a marketable commodity. It is the culmination of the spiritual endeavor practiced in many lives. It is desired that many good doctors must be produced for ministering to the people, but years of study and experience alone can supply them. If those unequipped are appointed as doctors in the hospitals, and if they start prescribing and operating, they are bound to kill where they should cure. So too, if a person has become a jnani today, you can imagine the years and years of sadhana, spiritual discipline, that won for him that height. The inheritance of spiritual impulses from previous births also helps his endeavor.
Okay.
Sairam auntie, in that when Swami talks about Sahaja Bhakti and Gauna Bhakti, that part can you read in Telugu?
Yeah,
auntie?
sure. This is the Swami saying, Gnani Bhakti Sahaja Bhakti. Migilina Varidi Gauna Bhakti. Gnani Tana Atmane Paramatmaga Bhavinsuno. Bhakti Anaga Anurakti, Anuragamu. Pujashvanurago Bhaktihi. Ani Annadu Krishnudu. Aneka Janmala Sadhana. Balame Chivarki Gnaniga Marchuno. Gnanamu Kavalana Appatikapudu Utti Patnadi Kadu. Idi Waka Shapuloni Vastu Kadu, Santaloni Sarpu Kadu, Janmantara Samskaram Yoka Sarame. Wakaturi, Anekamanti Chakani Doctorluga Kavalani Ashinturu, Daniki Purvam Yenta Chadvi, Undavalenu, Atlugaka, Emi Telianivani, Aspatrilo Petti, Roguluku Mandu Managa, Em Chainu, Dakshanaku Badulu, Maranamanu Siddham Chainu. The whole thing is written from. Yeah. So Anuraga Bhakti, and then Sahaja Bhakti, Swami is saying is Gauna Bhakti. Anuraga Bhakti, of course, is Anurakti, with affection towards the Lord. Total surrender and Bhakti to Bhagawan is Anuraga Bhakti. Extreme Anuraga means, raga is liking. Extreme surrender to the Lord, or extreme love to the Lord, or devotion to the Lord is Anurakti, I feel. Sai Satish, you can add if you want.
Yes, auntie. So I was just
what Swami has written here, Bhakti
yes,
Anuga, Anurakti, Anuragam. He equals both the words.
So like we can use the Gopikas as the example for that kind of Anurakti, no, auntie? Like because it was always the affection for the Lord, and they did not bother about what happened to them. When Uddhava goes there asking for the dust of the feet of the devotee which will cure Lord Krishna's headache, initially I think when that whole drama Lord Krishna enacts, like he says only the dust of the feet of his devotee can cure his headache. Nobody in the palace or anywhere is ready to give the dust of the feet, because they feel, how can we give the dust of the feet and that has to be applied to Lord Krishna's head? Oh my God, he is the Lord of the universe. We will not be able to give our dust, because how can the dust from our feet be applied to his forehead? So nobody is literally willing to give the dust. But when Uddhava is sent to Vrindavan, and the moment he lands there and he says, and they inquire how is Lord Krishna, and he mentions that Lord Krishna is having headache, and then only the dust of the feet of the devotee can cure him. Immediately they dust their feet and give that. They said, please take this and go back to Lord Krishna and apply it on his head. We want to see that he is completely cured. So at no point in time they were thinking, oh, if the dust from my feet is applied to Lord Krishna's thing, I will go to hell. This will happen to me. I will get into this kind of. It was always about Lord Krishna's well-being. He should be fine. He should always be happy. So that kind of, I'm seeing that Anurakti or Anuraga, where there is nothing like I don't exist, only the Lord and the Lord's well-being. So that thing came to me, just sharing that they epitomize that kind of Anuraga for the Lord.
For the Lord, yes. And Uddhava goes and asks for them to listen to him about his philosophy and his speech about their bhakti. He says that they say, we have got only one mind. That mind has gone with the Lord. There is no mind beyond which we can understand. We can't understand you. That mind has gone with Lord Krishna, and our eyesight also has gone with Krishna. We don't see anything else. That kind of bhakti is Anuraga Bhakti. And for Gauna Bhakti, Swami is saying is the bhakti of the others, that means the three, Arthi, Artharthi, and Jignasu, those bhakti he calls as a Gauna bhakti. Or is it something else? Derived bhakti, indirect bhakti?
Yeah, I don't know if it means like that part-time devotee, full-time devotee, auntie.
Maybe that is it.
Yeah, because
but Sai Satish, when Swami says the Jnani Bhakti is a direct Bhakti, then other three will come as a indirect Bhakti then.
That's what I understood. But
yeah, I'm just seeing if Gauna means what, auntie? Like I'm just
Gauna
trying to see.
Gauna and the secondary in Solala. We can say that.
Okay.
Secondary bhakti.
Okay. Because here they have used derived. That's why I wanted to know the exact meaning of Gauna. Because if it is
that Gauna bhakti, he says. But I have heard this Gauna, when real wedding takes place, it's wedding, marriage. Then Gauna is the later on when the couple are together, it's called Gauna marriage, Gauna wedding. That's what I have heard.
Okay.
Secondary.
Okay. So it's not like, you would literally classify it as primary and secondary, right?
Secondary.
So it is not like pradhanam, like pradhanam meaning the primary. It is. So I'm just trying to put it as like somebody who's firmly established always on the Lord as the primary, which becomes like full-time devotee. I'm just trying to run it in parallel to full-time and part-time devotee. Would that be fine, auntie? Like, would you take somebody who's Arti, Artharthi, Jignasu, Gauna Bhakti, meaning that it is not full-time devotion to the Lord, whereas for Jnani it will be full-time devotion? Can we say that?
Yeah, I think secondary, it means the same what you're saying, part-time bhakti.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yes,
because the meaning of
Gauna
versus
I also think that would
Gauna.
Gauna because it's a secondary, because all other threes are that they are not seeing the Lord is within them, right? So
they are the three are trying to fulfill their wishes. Arthi, Artharthi. Of course, Jignasu is much better because he is not yet found the Lord. He is in search of the Lord. Then I know he is in a better position. But still, it is not the complete Sahaja Bhakti. Sahaja Bhakti is of the only Jnanis have that Sahaja Bhakti.
And Sahaja means can mean natural.
Natural. Sahaja is natural.
So because it's secondary because the bhakti is for the thing that they're seeking. That's
exactly. Even Jignasu also can be classified in that category because he's trying to search for the Lord. He's reading a lot of material about Swami scriptures and other things. So he is indirectly approaching Lord, not the direct one.
And Auntie, you were saying bhakti, anurakti is equal to bhakti with anuraga?
Swami says bhakti anaga anurakti anuragam. He says that in sentence like that.
Oh, so
bhakti means anurakti anuraga. He says that these two equal words.
So we're saying that anuraga and anurakti are the same? Anuraga is affection?
Affection, yeah, affection.
And
maybe anurakti is much more than anuraga. Rakti means to revel in it. They revel in Bhagawan. Bhagawan's closeness and his leelas, in his presence, Rakti.
Okay. In English, it says attachment. Would you say it's attachment? Anurag.
Attachment. Attachment in the sense, not in the ordinary sense, what we have attachment for our worldly things. No, it is attachment, extreme attachment to the Lord. Exclusive of all other things. It's only God. It's only the Lord who matters them.
Auntie, is it like complete detachment from the world and attachment to God alone?
Yes, exactly. That's complete detachment from the world.
And then the puja, that
Pujyashvan Anuraga Bhakti. That Anuraga Bhakti which Bhagawan is saying, it must be revered. Pujyashvan Anuraga Bhakti. That's what puja means, you know. That day Arun was saying something to you about puja. What you have understood about puja, can you share it with us?
Oh, no, just in the beginning of the Geetha Vahini, when I think the first chapter, Swami was saying we should read it with puja bhavam, like with
Puja.
the reverential attitude.
Reverence. That's what. Among all the bhaktis, this Anuraga Bhakti is to be revered. Pujyashvanuraga Bhakti.
Okay, because in the English it says affection towards the venerable is bhakti. That was their translation for that. But
Pujyashvanuraga Bhakti. That's the translation which can.
So is it saying that the Anuraga Bhakti, that has to be revered? Is that what it means?
Yeah. Anuraga Bhakti should be revered. That is the highest, supreme kind of bhakti. So it is revered.
Okay.
Among all the other, you have Vatsalya Bhakti, Prem Bhakti. You can give us many examples, you know, like Arthi Arthati also can be taken in that way. So they are all bhaktis, but this bhakti, this Anuraga Bhakti is supreme among all the devotion.
And it's also like, I think the Gopikas were the vehicle or the container or the vessel, but what they had within them is that Pujyashvanuraga Bhakti. So each, whether we take any of the devotees across the thing, right, from Gopikas to Mirabai to Tukaram or Tyagaraja, each of these people are just channels through which that devotion or complete love for the Lord was epitomized or exhibited. So that's where when Swami says Pujyashvanuraga, it's like it is so. If we get to it with all that reverence, that is what we will learn by. It is like what the Brahmavid Brahmaya Bhavati kind of the thing, what the mind dwells on, it becomes that. So if we approach that with all love and devotion, that bhakti will also come to us. We will also be able to taste what it is by listening to these stories and by the company of the good and all of this, what we are trying to go through the satsang. It is, we will get a taste of that and then one day experience that. So that is why it is worthy of adoration, of worship, of reveling upon all of that.
It's the lofty of bhakti. Among the bhaktis, it is the highest type of bhakti which all of us can enumerate. When we listen to the stories of Gopikas or Meera or any other devotee, we would like to be like them and try to love God, showing all our affection, total affection towards the Lord.
Auntie, in the first paragraph, it says, yearn for the vast, the immeasurable. Just curious what Swami uses for those words.
The yearn always for the bhakti. Okay. అల్ప వస్తువులను కోరుక అది దైవమును కోరుటలే ఆనందముండు. అల్ప వస్తువులు కోరేవారు కృపణలు. He says he measured. భగవంతుని కోరేవారు ఉదారులు. Correct. That sentence is, we limit our desires to very little small things we want from God. We are all like persons with, we are misers. We are stingy people when we ask for small things. But be generous and ask for his own, for the Lord himself. Lord is ready to give himself to you. So that's what he is saying. Alpa vastuvunu korevaru krupanalu. Bhagavantuni korevaru udarudu. Those who ask for Bhagawan himself, Lord Krishna himself, then they are very generous, he says. Large-hearted people.
Auntie, I think you will remember this. Swami would say you go to Kalpataru and ask for coffee podi.
Coffee powder, yeah.
Coffee powder, he would say that. Yeah.
When he is ready to give the whole moksha, we go to him and ask him for small things. My child should get a seat in the admission in the medical college, or we want something for our own child, our own self. So these small things, of course, we are all artis then. We are all arthis. One has to graduate from that position.
Alpa vastu means small things.
Small things, very petty things. Alpa vastu.
Kripanalu means a miser.
Miser. Kripana is a miser. And another meaning is karpanya doshos. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, karpanya dosham. He feels the self-pity. It is also called karpanya. He was pitying himself, oh, I had to do all these things. How can I do this? I am so much interested in how can I kill my own relatives and my own guru? That's all self-pity. It's also karpanya. That word karpanya comes from kripana. But generally, kripana means a miser, a stingy person.
And just sharing on one of the occasions, I think during Shivaratri or later, I don't remember the exact occasion, but Swami had created this golden lingam, and Swami had brought it around, showing to everybody there. So all of us were jumping and trying to touch that lingam, and then Swami went back to the stage, and then he said that everybody was trying to touch that lingam, feeling that they will get sanctified and purified. Swami was saying, this is the hand from which avatars come. We forgot to touch Swami's hand. We are touching more that lingam. So we forget often the source and we go after the object. So literally, when we go to the wish fulfilling tree, also the Kalpataru that Swami is, we will go, and what we want to ask, Swami has a grander design for us. He has come to give us what he envisions is the right thing for us. But we go and say, Swami, give me this, give me that. So we are thinking that, oh, if I get this, I will get that. But if we ask Swami of himself, then we get Swami and we get everything, because it's the same thing. It's like if you get the Lord, you get the world as well, because the world is in his hand. So that kind of a thing of what to ask, always ask of Bhagawan, from Bhagawan, of Bhagawan. So that way the best comes to us of whatever Swami decides is the best. So just reiterating.
I think I have explained, I have shared this experience of Kalparuksham with all of you. If you have heard that over the radio Sai, which I gave an interview, but I would like to remind you again about my experience about this Kalparuksha. When Swami took all of us to the Kalparuksha one day in the evening, I was very small, of course, 10, 11 years old. The rest of them, lots of devotees were also there. And then when he went near the Kalprukshan, the first question what he asked was, Swami asked, what do you want? So somebody said, Swami, we want apple. Swami, we want a pear. Swami, we want laddu. So all these things were, you know, how silly we were. We going to Kalpavriksha and then asking for all these things. Anyway, Swami plucked 4 fruits. I have told you about that. It was, of course, the sun was setting almost. So we couldn't make out what kind of fruit it was. He bundled up in his own handkerchief. And then among all the devotees, he said, whom can I trust? He said. And then, you know, that bundle which he kept in my sister's lap, and then suddenly he took it from her and then put it in my lap. So, and asked me, carefully bring it to the temple. Tomorrow, Sheshkira will cut it and as prasadam to all of us. So such things, you know, when we go to the Lord, we forget ourselves. We are only want small things. Kripana, that is what's Kripana. Laddu, apple, pear, all these things are such small things before the Lord, who is ready to give us them. Himself. Pardon me. Yeah, ma, Solma.
Auntie, did you ask anything from Swami at that time?
No. He didn't ask me. Of course, I never asked. I was sitting in front. He asked me to sit in front, my sister, and my cousin, and myself. And then songs, of course, everybody sang few songs. I also sang. That's it. I don't know much about it. I didn't.
Thank you.
In fact, in the interview, he asked me, I was same time, Ni kem kavala, what do you want? I said, I don't want anything, Swami. Yeah, I just, even at that stage, you know, I don't want anything, Swami, I said.
Oh, thank you. I
have asked for anything. That was his age, you know, where we want all things to be.
But Swami has given you everything.
Everything.
Yes.
Without asking, he has given.
Yes.
He has given himself.
That is Swami. Yes, he knows. Thank you, Saira.
Saira, just shared my.
Okay, Sairam Auntie.
Sairam.
I'd like to add your point, Auntie, about the Kalpaka Viricha or whistling tree. We can ask something, whatever we know, that whatever we experience it, but that Swami can give the self-realization and the jnana that never we experience that one. We don't know how the taste even. So that's what we had when we get the grace and blessing, and we had to look forward to the self-realization.
Brother, that, yeah. You know, we have to be ready for that realization. Receptacle should be ready for Bhagawan to give. Yeah. How do we know that we are ready for realization? And how can we ask Swami, give me? Many people have gone and told, ask Swami, please give me moksha. Please give me shanti. See, we cannot ask anything from the Lord. Lord knows when to give, what to give.
Exactly. So you have to be deserved for that one.
Yeah, you deserve that. You deserve that. Only then you can ask. And we don't know whether we deserve it or not.
Yes.
Yeah. Saira.
I just found it interesting, like usually when you think of something worldly, like somebody who asks for a little, in terms of the worldly sense, if you just want a little money or something like that, then you would be considered more large-hearted or generous. And if you ask for a lot, you would be considered like somebody greedy. But here it's like, I guess in a more like a spiritual sense, I guess Swami's saying that when you ask for that biggest, best thing ever, which is God, that actually makes you generous and large-hearted. Which I know, it's just kind of trying to understand why, like, asking for something that's the best thing you can possibly ask for, that makes you very generous.
In other religions, I think it is said that you ask, it will be given. That's what every other religions say. But according to Vedanta, according to Advaita Vedanta especially, so you don't have to ask anything. He knows what to give, what we deserve. He will definitely give us. That much of faith we have to have. Yeah.
I think when avatar like Swami is asking something, he's touching on our intelligence, not on our logic, reasoning, everyday mundane stuff, you know. So I believe that he's in communication with the intelligence in ourselves. So that's a communication which we lose touch with, and we think that we are in control.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not exactly intelligence. He is assessing what type of person you are. I think so. Sairam.
Just adding to what Sister had asked, the idea to ask the ocean to become the ocean is to become the ocean, so that we can give like the ocean. So the generosity aspect is coming because when we are asking God of God, it is to become like God or become God, which makes us generous once again.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing what you asked, sister, because the idea of in the worldly sense you ask less, so you feel that, oh yeah, I have asked only what I need, so I have not asked too much. but the problem is, will my asking stop with that? No, I asked this today, tomorrow I'll go back and say, Swami, you gave me this, but actually you give me this and that also. So there is nothing like I am completely satisfied with what I asked, because the ultimate satisfaction can come only by becoming that final state of what we are seeking to become. So, and that in turn reflects, because once we become that, we are so selfless that we are so generous. So that is where asking for that highest thing is also synonymous with becoming same as that and living in that state of generosity. And that is why the thing of asking Kalpataru of Kalpataru makes the complete sense. Because the thing is always, the highest desire is to become desireless. And that is what we are doing when we are seeking from God of God himself. Or that's the thing of, yeah. Right.
Swami used to, Sairam, go ahead, Ajahn.
No, Sairam auntie. No, you can go ahead, auntie.
Illama, sure. Come on.
Sairam, what I'm trying to say here is, when you are asking something, you are putting yourself that you know better than God knows. That is where we are making the mistake. So we always have to be conscious about it, because what we know within is limited with our knowledge. But there are a lot more, right, which we don't understand. So always leave it to God to give us what we need than asking.
Yeah.
That's how, thank you, Sarah.
I remember one song which Swami used to sing, Kadaventora Nirante.
Please sing, auntie. Please, auntie, sing. It's okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Karmadata Vashama Naruda, Karmadata Vashama, Karmadata Vashama Naruda, Karmadata Vashama, Dhanikudu Trutilo Bhikari Kada, Panditudantalo Pamaripoda, Kadaventora Nirante, Kavalannanu Ekkuvaradu, Karmadata Vashama Naruda, Karmadata Vashama. Swami is saying, you cannot cross this karma. You have to go through this karma. In a minute, a rich person can become totally a pauper, or Pandita, a very well learned scholar, might forget all his knowledge, all his scholarship, and then he becomes just an ordinary person. So when you take a vessel to the ocean, you can bring only that much water, not more than that. Kadaventora nirante. So you come to the Lord with a particular limited desire. That limited desire can be satisfied, but even if you even if you want more, you cannot get more than that. So that is the song which always Swami used to sing himself. It's his favorite song.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sai Satish, you have heard this song, no? Swami singing?
Yes, Auntie. So many times.
Many
So Sairam Auntie, even if we pray the Lord honestly, then He will fulfill our karma, artha, whatever the desire, whatever the knowledge and everything, He will give. The God He will give us. Then eventually He will take us to the desireless and to the path of the moksha.
Definitely. So he will definitely fulfill all our desires. So that Swami himself said, I give you everything, whatever you want, but one day you will do what I want you to do. That's what he says.
So I guess even when we are sick and we ask for, to get better, or if our child is sick and we pray for the health of the child or any of those things, it's like the cup, I guess, right? So but it's so hard to not.
No, it is human nature for always to go to the Lord and then ask for all these things. We always pray saying that my health, my child should be healthy. All this part, I think it's very natural for human beings to do all the things.
But to go to the ocean without a cup means we shouldn't even have that desire. What should we should just say that, like the Lord, your will shall happen, or like your will should prevail, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's so hard.
Yeah, but it's more about first initially because we want certain end result, we pray with that end result. Because when we are praying for somebody's health or this thing, because it is more like I as a parent, I'm not able to see that struggle for the child, or in some other context, it is the difficulty within me to accept, which of course is good to pray. I'm not saying you should not, you should, because it starts with that kind of a prayer, Swami, please help, which starts with that. But if that, with time, if it can go to a thing that, Swami, I accept your will, and you know what is best, you take care, thy will be done, kind of a thing, what you're saying only, sister. But it comes with again and again practice with that stuff, and one day Swami will ensure, because ultimately we know that not a blade of grass can move without his will, but accepting it more from the heart rather than a mental gymnastics or just vocabulary. Can I accept it with all my heart when I'm going through that situation? That, of course, you have to pray to Swami to give that mindset and keep putting it again and again. And yeah, one day his grace is flowing, just that we have to be able to be in tune with that. Sairam.
Yeah. That spiritual strength will give you enough courage to face any kind of situation. Sorry.
Auntie, we say that after praying, we have to ask also, right? But we have to know what we are asking, what state of mind, what we are asking also is in matters, right? In Sri Rudram, the Namakam Chamakam comes. Right? So Namakam, we are praising the Lord, and then we are asking. So that means we have to be, that asking shouldn't be selfish, ego related, and I know what, those are the things shouldn't be there in asking. So anything with the state of mind you are asking for from God to help you, support you, I think to reach to that for the time being to progress in the spiritual path, we have to ask of the knowledge and all, right? So we are asking something from Lord to guide us. Thank you, Saira.
If you ask for the universal welfare for everybody, not only that, as you said, there is no selfishness, there is no ego-related things, but you are asking for the whole world. Your loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. That's what we are asking. Not for my own, say, my own family, my own self. Then that's really a genuine request to the Lord to provide us with all these things. Yeah, you can ask that way.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam. Sister was talking about the Rudram after Chamakam and Namakam. See, in the Chamakam, Namakam of it, Prananam Grantarasi Rudroma Vishantaga. It means that the Lord Shiva, when he comes in the 10th, after the 11th Anuvag, he appears in front of you right away. That time you are requesting him to come and sit in your Asi is called the place of the body and the soul, connect the place. That place, you are requesting him to ask him to come and sit in your heart. Whatever food you are taking it, you digest and keep yourself alive. As soon as he comes and sits, we are not asking anything. As soon as he comes and sits in our heart, everything comes automatically. It is whatever the Chamakam part comes, it comes, everything automatically, it comes. Sanchame, Mayashame, Priyanchame, Kamasya, whatever it is everything. As soon as he comes and sits in your heart, everything comes on its own. I think people will agree to this.
Thank you so
Sairam.
much, Brother. Thank you.
Auntie, you're on mute. I think you were saying something.
You're telling something. You are on mute. I would like to.
As you said, when he comes and sits inside our heart, everything is his, not
Yes.
ours. Everything is his.
That is nice way of putting, right? How the Chamakam going to start kind of. So after sitting the Lord in your heart, then that's, yes, that's very nice. So instead of just saying we are asking kind of, that gives you a different.
It comes automatically. It comes
yes,
automatically.
Thank you.
It
Sairam.
automatically.
So my understanding is changed now. Thank you.
Instill that Rudra in your heart. He will give everything. He eats for himself and for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Saira. Kalyan, you want to go further a little? We have time. One more slide we can.
Yes, I just had one question about the example Swami is giving about the doctor. And if you appoint those who are unequipped as doctors, they can actually cause harm instead of helping. And similarly, Swami is saying to be a jnani, you have to have had years of sadhana.
Exactly.
So is there a point, because it's not explicitly saying anything about the other part of it, where if you're not ready to be a jnani and you're trying to be a jnani, is that harmful? Is Swami also saying that based on the example he gave?
Sai Satish, can you go?
Yes, Auntie. So when Swami is talking about the doctor, Swami is saying based on their experience, where they are, they can either do good or harm to others. So in the same context, self-proclaimed jnanis can do more harm, because it is like when you go towards a river or an ocean, from far itself, you will know that there is a river or ocean because of the cool breeze that comes from it. Likewise, when we go to the presence of a true jnani, we will see that our own senses, the vagaries of the mind, all of it calms down in that presence. So automatically, the kind of effect that the jnani has on people around them is so profound, like a good experienced doctor, when they treat the patient in the worldly sense, they cure them of the worldly illness. Likewise, the jnani, the true jnani, will bring that calmness, that peace of mind to people who approach them. But a self-proclaimed jnani, in the sense, they have not truly attained. They are more of not even the arti or artharti kind, but they are, yeah, they are look. Their focus is not jnana or the Brahman. It is for namesake. They proclaim themselves as jnani, which can have disastrous effect on people who are going to them because they can be misled. So from the context of how a doctor has an effect on a patient, from that point, so I think that is what is being told about what the jnani can do to somebody else, kind of approaching them. But nevertheless, everybody is on a path towards Swami. Everybody is trying to work their own sadhana to reach Bhagawan. So in that aspect, everybody is going from that arti stage to jnani stage. But a true jnani, we will know from the effect that they have on people around them, apart from, because when the self is radiant, the effulgence of the self will automatically dispel the darkness of people even around them. So that will get manifested as how. So I feel that example has been put across in that context, Saira.
So it's more for someone who's like a self-proclaimed jnani. But is there any, like, if for your own self, like inside inward journey, if you try to be like a jnani, but maybe you're not at that stage yet, is it harmful? Like, because I guess Swami was saying it's a stage by stage progress, or maybe it's not even possible if you're not ready.
So I see it like it's like a weighing pan. There is a small I and there is a capital I. So every situation that we go into, there is a swing between the small I, which is the egocentric one, which keeps coming up, which is harmful. And every time we establish ourselves in the capital I, the small I gets subdued and goes down. So in terms of going from arti to artharti to jignasu to jnani is the not normal process of spiritual evolution. So there will be, it's not like everything, it is a road less taken kind of a thing. There may not be many people in terms of the current worldly sense who are strongly putting in that effort to reach to Bhagwan. So they'll, but at the same time, even as we are trying to take that low road less taken, there can be, it's not that it's a smooth highway and just we go. Like Swami says, before the photo of Bhagwan is put on the wall, the nail is shaken and tested, and then the photo is put. So there can be tests, there can be trials, there can be tribulations, there can be pitfalls because the small I is becoming at times more than the capital I. But all of that effort is to ensure that we go towards Bhagwan. So there's nothing like, oh, some danger kind thing, because at the end it is to go towards the spiritual fire of wisdom and become one with it, not from the worldly sense of the fire that burns, but from the spiritual sense of the fire that removes one's ignorance so that we become one with it. So we may feel that there is a danger towards it, but it is not from the worldly danger that we are thinking. It is about lessening the small I and making more of the capital I. I hope I have answered some part of your questions as well.
Yes,
Does
thank
that
you.
make sense? Yeah.
That
Can I,
makes sense.
can I put my thought in this?
Yes, please.
Okay, it is in a simple word. It's somebody to nobody to everybody. This is somebody is I am something, and then I am nobody, and then it is for everybody. It is for everybody. It is somebody to nobody to everybody.
Very nice. Thank you.
And just adding to what brother said, like Swami says that life starts with koham. Every child, when it's born, it cries, and that is koham. Who am I? Who am I? And it should end with soham. I am that. I am that. So it is that journey that we have to ensure that we bridge it in one lifetime or across lifetimes, but it is from that koham to soham.
Thank you, sir.
So Sairam Aunty, I'd like to add to the point too. If you take a surgeon, he has to go through so many years of practice and the education side too. You cannot give train a person just you have to go through the procedure. The worldly thing. Same thing. If you look at the jnani, he knows everything, and he's a self-realized person. So for that, Swami is saying you have to go through so many life. You have to do the sadhanas. Then, because you are going to be like you know everything. There's no difference between the God and you. So you have to do so many years of sadhana to achieve the level. Thank you, Sairam.
Sorry. In the past lives, that person would have done enough sadhana to become a gnani in this birth. Just like Shankaracharya, at the age of 9, he was a gnani, born gnani. He is actually avatar of the Lord Shiva, it seems. So such people get that knowledge, that jnana, immediately, like that, instantaneously. But for some people, we have not reached that stage. We have to put forth more effort in this life to reach that stage. Sairam. Yeah, Kalyani, I think you should go further. We'll read, at least. We can read. We had 15 minutes more.
All kinds of people now name themselves as jnanis. They do not know, perhaps, that a jnani is marked by certain characteristics. The mark that proves him genuine is, of course, his declaration based on his own experience that Vasudeva Sarvamidam, Vasudeva is all this. The steady assimilation of that experience is the true sign of the jnani. But Vasudeva is meant here, not the son of Vasudeva, but he who has made all beings his home, his nivasa, residence. It is only a person who perceives the Lord in all beings that deserves to be called a jnani. Instead, if others name themselves as jnani, they are so only in name. They have no genuine experience of jnana. What exactly is that jnana? It is a possession of that knowledge which enables you to have the knowledge of all, and so enables you to dispense with the knowledge of all else. This is the height which the jnani reaches. On the other hand, no one can claim to be a jnani who has simply learned a few slokas by heart, or skipped through a few books, or ascended platforms with 10 others and lectured for hours in the full pride of scholarship, reeling off ponderous sentences like a magician and his ball of thread, pouring out what has earlier been swallowed. We have large numbers of such self-styled jnanis going about now. Their dress is ochre, but their hearts are ogre. Well, how can stones shine as gems? All stones are not precious stones. Who will assess a stone as equal to a gem? Only fools will be so misled, for they know neither the one nor the other.
Here Swami is saying Vasudeva Sarvamidam. From Vishnu Sahasranamam, Swami is quoting this. Vasanad Vasudevasya Vasante Jagatrayam. Sarva Bhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namoste. So he is saying that Vasudeva Sarvamidam. Sarva Bhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namosute. The one who resides in all the manifestation of this universe, he is Vasudeva. That's what Swami is doing. The study assimilation. whoever knows that declaration that everywhere Vasudeva exists, that's the mark of a real Gnani. But self-proclaimed Gnanis, Swami is saying that they just vomit whatever they have learned from the other the scriptures. So they just repeat those things and then they call themselves as Swami, as Gnanis, self-styled Gnanis. Swami is clearly saying that. Sairam.
Auntie, that part where Swami says, what exactly is that jnana? That part, can you read in Telugu, Auntie? Where Swami says it is the possession of that knowledge. That
అయితే జ్ఞానికి కొన్ని చిహ్నములు ఉండవి. That is some certain characteristics, certain things you can find. సర్వము వాసుదేవుడను అనుభవ వాక్యమే నిజమైన చిహ్నము, సరి అయిన స్థితి. వాసుదేవుడనగా సామాన్యుగా వసుదేవ కుమారుడని తలంతురు, అది సరికాదు. సర్వభూతములకు నివాసమై తాను సర్వభూతములందు నివసించుచున్న స్థితి గలవాడే వాడగుటనే వాసుదేవుడని అందరు. Is it okay, Sai Satish?
Yes, Auntie. After that line.
ఇట్టి అనుభవ స్థితిని పొందినవాడే జ్ఞాని కాగలడు. కానీ తనకు తాను నేను జ్ఞాని అని పేరు రాసుకున్న అతను పేరుకు జ్ఞాని గాని అనుభవం అజ్ఞాని. దేనిని తెలుసుకున్న తరువాత మరొక్కటి తెలుసుకొనవలసిన పని లేదో దానిని తెలుసుకొనుటే జ్ఞాని యొక్క మహత్యము. Knowing that which everything else will be known. That's the Shruti Vakya. Brahma with Brahma Bhakti, that's like knowing that you will know everything else.
Is it also saying in Telugu, so enables you to dispense with the knowledge of all else?
Where is that sentence? You just told me?
The last.
It is the position of the knowledge. Yeah, that's exactly. దీనిని తెలుసుకున్న తర్వాత మరొకటి తెలుసుకొనవలసిన పని లేదో దానిని తెలుసుకొనుటే దాని యొక్క మహత్యము. This genuine experience. It's a position of that knowledge which enables you to have the knowledge of all. Exactly, that's what Swami is saying here. Knowing one that which gives you everything else, which gives you knowledge of all the things.
Yeah.
That is when we know that self, it reveals everything to us.
Yeah. That is the God. When you
That
know,
is God.
Yeah.
God.
It is the possession of that knowledge. That's mean that God.
Yeah.
If you know that, then everything else is you have known. That's all.
Yeah, that's correct. Everything else is knowing that, everything else is known. That's how it is put in the Upanishads.
In the English, there's one more part to the sentence, and it says, and so enables you to dispense with the knowledge of all else.
That is not there, Kalyani.
Okay.
Enables you to dispense with the knowledge of all else. No, not dispensing here, it's not that. Knowing that knowledge, which enables you to have the knowledge of all. That's it.
So that knowledge here in this paragraph, Swami is referring to that the Lord pervades everywhere, like a Vasudeva meant here, not a son of Vasudeva, but he is all being, his home. That's the one is that, right?
Knowledge of Brahman,
Yes.
knowledge of Paramatman. Here, Vasudeva means you can refer it to the Brahman, Parabrahman also. That's what he said. I read it from the Vishnu Sahasranamam. Sarvabhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namosute. He resides in everything. Nivasa means residence.
So, Auntie, there's another meaning for Vasudeva. Deva means above the three gunas.
Yeah.
And the Vasudeva, I read in a Markandeya, I think, he was saying, okay, during the Pralaya time, only Lord Krishna was there in the water.
Yeah.
So everything refuge on him. Then after that, the creation started with Lord Brahma.
Yeah.
So, and Deva, not given to everyone. Sai Deva, Krishna Deva. We don't say to Rama Deva, no. Because, yeah. So there's a meaning there too for the Deva. Thank you.
Sairam, and
Sairam.
from that, yeah, Sandy. So I was just going to say that the way
Sai,
we,
can you come closer to the mic, please?
yes, Auntie, is it?
No, better.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, Auntie. So I was just saying that that word Vasudeva, if we take it, it is the way we want to look at it, right? That's what Swami is saying. It can start with the physical understanding of Krishna Vasudeva being son of Vasudeva, so it is that. But that same understanding can be stretched to the level of the Antaryami or Sarvabhuta.
Nivasosi.
Yeah.
Parabrahma also you can call it.
Yes, Auntie. So it is at what stage we are in, Yata Drishti, Tata Srishti. What stage of understanding that we are in, we look at it and get a feeling of that reflected within ourselves. We perceive it in that way. And even that part where Swami says that knowledge by knowing which you know everything.
Yeah.
So is the one that we should really go for. So Swami would always say, more than bookish knowledge, he would say like practical knowledge is important, because that practical knowledge is something that we imbibe and it becomes a part of it. The bookish knowledge will just stay, like he would say, from it would go from like the book to the mastaka, the pustaka to mastaka. He would say just a book is getting translated or it's getting transferred to the head. But what should really happen is essence with the heart. So what we see as Krishna, son of Vasudeva, is more of something as a bookish thing that we could have got it from the scriptures and it becomes part of our intellectual understanding. But what we need to essence is that Krishna who was so dear to the Gopikas, or who had, or to whom the devotees offer that love. Can we imbibe that? So that if we are able to make it a part of our inner being, then that true knowledge is the one that redeems us from everything else. So it is that same thing, that true attachment to God, which can free us from every other thing and which can make us truly detached from the world. So from that thing of knowing that which frees us from everything else is the one that needs to be really known and essenced. So just thought of telling that part.
Yeah. Actually, when the dissolution of the whole universe takes place, it's always shown in a leaf, a small leaf. Krishna is sleeping there and then he is the only survivor. The whole thing is in deluge. But actually, we should understand this creation, sustenance, and dissolution. All these actions are taken in a cyclical manner. The dissolution takes place, but the only one thing who remains is that Parabrahman. That is what is shown. A small child sleeping on the leaf, it is shown like that. But we have to understand that dissolution after Pralaya, nothing remains here. only that Parabrahman survives, and he is there to do the creation again. That's what it symbolizes, what I have understood. If anything, if anybody wants to comment on it, please.
And one thing, Auntie, just adding to what you were saying, one is, of course, what we perceive as something that happened in the past as creation, or something that is to happen in the future as dissolution. But that we can essence it, like based on some of the earlier discussions we have had also, that same creation, sustenance, and destruction is happening physical level within our own body. Every day we are creating, every day we are maintaining, and every day something within us is getting destroyed. That so everything, that vast, profound thing can also be like this same thing. Anoranyan Mahatomahyan, the macrocosm can be envisioned within the microcosm. So within us, we can feel all of that happening. So whether we say the good versus bad, so many of these things that we read in scriptures or in many other vahinis of Bhagawan or discourses, we can essence those things within us. And if we can look at the true knowledge or wisdom behind it, then it helps us understand and then internalize it. So just adding to what you were saying on the overall sense also.
Auntie, you are muted. Auntie, you are muted.
That the real, genuine Gnani is the one who sees divinity everywhere. That Vasudeva, that Parabrahman, when you start seeing that divinity everywhere, that he is the real Gnan. That's what he wants, Swami wants to us to understand this. So Vasudeva, God is all in all of this. That is the declaration, that is the one characteristic of a Gnani. Okay, Sai Ram. I think we should close now. It's already 4:26. Okay.
Yes, Auntie. Yeah. Brother Satish, can you close?
Yeah, sure. It's just with Om Shanti, right?
Yes.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.